This news flew past many major gaming outlets, but no, this is quite significant in the strategy game space. Stardock announced that they will be publishing Crimson Freedom, an RTS set on Mars. Yeah, there's a few of those, no thanks to this guy. The game is being developed by Serbian game studio Bugadu, and it signals a major milestone for Stardock. It is a declaration that they are back. Stardock, for the most part, hasn't really had a great track record in game publishing. The last game they published from a third party developer, a new third party developer that didn't have that close working relationship with them, was 10 years ago. It was a real time trading game, incidentally, also set on Mars. Awful Trading Company was developed by Soren Johnson, the lead dev of Civilization 4. It's a pretty niche and unique title, very multiplayer focused, about manipulating the market and other factions so that your company would be the most profitable one on Mars. I do think that the uniqueness of the title and that its multiplayer focused gameplay meant it had a relatively small audience despite it being a pretty smart game. By the way, that same year, Oxide Games released Ashes of the Singularity. I don't consider that to be the typical publishing deal because Oxide Games was co-founded by Brad Wardell, who is the founder of Stardock. So they are more like sister companies, really. If you look before Awful Trading Company, the last published game was 17 years ago, and it's a game you probably have never heard of for good reason. It's a game that has been forgotten in the history of strategy games. Heck, I think even its charismatic lead designer, Chris Taylor, would want to forget it ever existed.
Why did they do that?
Demigod was supposed to be their first MOBA, a multiplayer online battle arena where gods battle each other for dominance. It's pretty much your typical Dota style design with multi-lane maps, hero upgrades, automated units that move up the lanes. The most iconic thing about this game is the Rook, this giant monstrous castle tower thing that smashed anything and everything on the map. Cool design. It was developed by a very reputable studio, Gas Powered Games, who made one of my favorite RTS games ever. So, what went wrong with Demigod? Well, network connection issues killed it for day one players, and when they could play the damn thing, players found it lacking in content. Demigod really felt like a rushed project that needed way more time for polish, content, and balance. Stardock, I believe, fell off right after Sins of a Solar Empire, which was developed by Canadian studio Ironclad Games in 2008. I just don't think any other game came close to how hugely successful the first Sins was. When it came to Stardock's own games, Galactic Civilization 4X turn-based space strategy game was their biggest franchise in their catalog, and it's an old school type of 4X game. To be honest, Galciv kinda fell off with the latest Galciv 4. Player numbers have been lower than Galciv 3. I would say Galciv 2 was probably the peak for me. Stardock's DNA has generally been about designing old school strategy games, a design sensibility that goes back to a much older generation of PC gaming. And to some extent, I think that worked against them. While competing games like Distant Worlds and certainly Stellaris have pushed the genre forward and brought in a much more massive player base, Stardock has struggled to break out from being a small and niche strategy game developer with old school sensibilities. No matter what they did, Elemental, War of Magic, and that entire series was a bit of a disappointment, which got remastered recently, by the way. That was inspired by Master of Magic. Stardock also purchased the rights to the Star Control IP and released Star Control Origins to pretty mixed reviews. Again, this approach of making games based on these old PC gaming classics, which I think a vast majority of gamers today have no attachment to, it probably didn't work to their advantage as they would have hoped for. So, why do I think now Stardock is making a significant push? That this comeback is real? There's three things going for them. Well, three games actually. A trinity of potentially great real time strategy games: Sins of a Solar Empire 2, Ashes of the Singularity 2, and this new publishing partnership for Crimson Freedom. Sins of a Solar Empire 2 was well received, but it really didn't take a genius to figure out making a sequel to your hit game would be positively received. And yeah, technically, yes, Sins of a Solar Empire 2 is also a game published by Stardock, which is also much recent, but Ironclad Games has a working relationship with Stardock, and there's probably some sort of exclusivity deal with the Sins of a Solar Empire brand as well. But Sins of a Solar Empire 2 was released 2 years ago now on Steam. 4 years if you count the Epic Games release. But we don't talk about that over here. And I think development is falling behind a little. I mean, they haven't released all their promised content for their content pass and just delayed a major update for the game. The content that I'm looking forward to is the Times of War single player campaign, which will be a first for the series. Sins of a Solar Empire never had a single player campaign. I really do think this will bring back the old players and potentially get a ton of new players on board. But Ironclad really has to get things rolling quicker, or else, the player numbers will continue to dwindle. Ashes of the Singularity 2 has been looking very promising. I do appreciate that this series isn't trying to be an exact carbon copy of the older classic RTS Supreme Commander, but it feels like a very different game with a different take on the massive scale strategic level RTS. Ashes 2 adds some pretty smart new automation features that will make moving your blob of reinforcements easier. I did fall off the first Ashes of the Singularity. I felt it had cool mechanics and the tech was impressive, but it lacked a good story. That would have really made the whole thing more engaging. Hopefully they improve that part of the game for Ashes 2. Still, this game has no release date yet. And Crimson Freedom, the new game in the Stardock roster, it is billed as a slower, more relaxed paced RTS. I mean, thank God they are not just trying to make yet another Command and Conquer clone, or heck, trying to be the next esports sensation that is riffing off of StarCraft. Crimson Freedom is being developed as an RTS for fans of the genre that enjoy a good old single player campaign. Now, there are three distinct factions: the Red Rebellion, Orbis Concordia, and the Ascent, with a campaign that will focus on the perspective of each of these factions. Crimson Freedom is targeted to launch in 2027. So, are we seeing a new era for Stardock? Can they emerge as a major player in the PC strategy gaming space? I mean, literally space, since all three of these games are set in space. The success of these three games will be the deciding factor. Maybe there will be more than three games. Who knows? Perhaps they will announce more publishing partnerships moving forward. We shall see. Anyway, do tell me, which game from Stardock are you looking forward to? What's your favorite Stardock game? Tell me in the comments. Thanks for watching this video. Until next time, farewell friends.